Sifu is an upcoming beat-em-up action-adventure title that has already taken the whole gaming universe by storm with its visceral, hand-to-hand combat and stunningly beautiful visuals. Set in the Chinese suburbs, Sifu places you in the shoes of a young revenge-driven kung fu student who wants to avenge the death of his family. But the path of revenge is no easy one as he has to fight hordes of enemies along the way until he finds the 5 assassins who murdered his family. Coming from Slowclap, the developers of Absolver, Sifu is all set to be released on February 8th, 2022. Welcome back to Game Geeked, back with yet another exciting video for you, and today we are taking a deep dive into the gang-ridden suburbs of Sifu. So without any further ado, hit the subscribe button and let's get started. Sifu is an upcoming beat-em-up title by Slowclap that's been getting a lot of praises from game lovers all around the world for its insanely cool-looking world and equally as thrilling hand-to-hand combat. It revolves around the story of a young kung fu student whose family has been mercilessly killed by 5 assassins. For years, he has been mastering the art of Pak-mei kung fu, and now he thinks he is finally ready to take on the big guns of the Chinese gangs spread all across the suburbs. The game is set in a modern Chinese city controlled by these mobsters that you have to fight off with your kung fu skills. However, you possess a magical talisman that empowers you with revival abilities that you can use to be reborn when the enemy takes you down. This ability sounds incredible, almost making you invincible, but it comes with a high price, and that is time. Every time you get knocked out by the enemies, you can use the power of the talisman to get back on your feet, but every time you do so, you age up by a certain number. But that's not it. Every time you age up, your skills and power also increase, making you more and more powerful, until the magical power of the talisman is all used up, and then you simply die. Sounds pretty damn awesome, right? This gives Sifu a lot of depth and adds this exciting unpredictability to it. I totally dig the plot of the game and the wild combination of a simple story backed with such fascinating and in-depth features. And since we're talking about the features of this game, there's no doubt that the hand-to-hand combat is where this game shines the brightest. Combat is the defining feature of this game, and it is just as fun to play as it is to watch because of just how thrilling it really is. You have to be on top of your reflex game in order to land some timely punches at your enemies, block or dodge their attack, or simply stun them by a quick parry. The combat system in this game is probably the best I've seen in a while. It does kind of give some Batman Arkham vibes because of how intense it is, but you will be blown away by the sheer number of attacks that you can use in this game. Sifu offers over 150 unique moves that can also be used in any way to create new combos to get an edge over the enemies. Another feature that I totally dig about the combat system in this game is that every single character in the game, including the protagonist, has a structural gauge. A bar that gets filled up every time the character blocks an attack, and once it gets fully filled, that character loses the ability to block and opens himself up to finishing moves, which can prove to be quite lethal. And since our player is a lone fighter, it gets quite difficult to constantly block the attacks without getting the structural gauge filled up. Luckily, we have the option of parrying the enemy attack. If we just manage to time our parry perfectly, you can use it to stun the enemy or throw him off to a particular direction. Speaking of enemies, these guys also come packed with quite a lot of unique and unpredictable moves. Unlike many other games that offer hand-to-hand combat, the enemies in Sifu don't really give you any hint when they attack. It all just happens very randomly. Just like in real life, you have to be super quick with your counter or you are doomed. Of course, the hand-to-hand combat is cool and all, but Sifu doesn't let you fight empty-handed all the time. You can literally pick up most of the objects around you, from glass bottles to wooden chairs. You can even break tables and other stuff and pick up the pieces to knock the enemy's head off. Most of the objects in the game are breakable and can be used in fights, and you don't even need to use your hands. You can just shoot an object off to the enemy with a kick. There's just a lot you can do in the game, but with so many things to do, it will definitely take you a while to wrap your head around the ins and outs of the game before you can effortlessly beat your enemies with style. And since we're on the topic of environment, I can't help but admire the stunningly gorgeous visuals of this game. It is set in a modern Chinese city that has this cyberpunk kind of vibe to it, which makes the game so much more thrilling. The attention to detail is great, from lighting to level design. Everything about this game so far is just outclass. Now, we still don't know how the game plays out to the end, and even if I did, I wouldn't have spoiled the ending or endings for you. But then again, it's only a matter of days before Sifu makes its way to the gaming market and we get to enjoy this kung fu masterpiece. So yeah, definitely worth the wait. Sifu comes out on the 8th of this month for most of the major gaming platforms, including PC, PS4, and 5. So no matter which platform you're on, you can enjoy this incredible title as soon as it drops in the market. And with that, we have reached the end of our video. That's everything you need to know about Sifu so far. I'm sure you guys are as excited as I am about this game. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. And also, if you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to hit that like button so I can keep making more gaming videos like this in the future as well. That's all for today, and I will see you next time.